Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Left is Right, Up is Down and Common Sense. Is it hard to find? Now, before we carry on with this one, as you guys can see, the setup does look a little bit different, and that's because I'm back in the US. As most of you guys know by now, when the setup changes, it's because I'm back in America. Let's call it my second setup because I'm out here quite a bit at the minute. So this will be what it's like going forward for the next 3 weeks or so. However, whilst the setup has changed just a little bit, there is one thing that won't ever change. You'll never see this change, and that is woke liberal women defending lunacy. I don't know what's wrong with these women. I really don't. I just don't get how these people wake up and go out of their way to defend woke agendas. It doesn't make any sense. It is backwards. And this leads us to the story we're going to be talking about today, because there is a massive feud going on right now on X between Riley Gaines and the woman who changes her accent every 5 minutes depending on what demographic she's speaking to. Oh yeah, good old AOC. Because she decided to mock Riley Gaines over the whole Leah Thomas situation. Yeah, you heard me correct. A woman mocking another woman having her sport wrecked because of a dude who identifies as a woman. You couldn't make it up. I never want to hear these liberal women talk about, oh, men are taking this from us, men are taking these opportunities, whilst they go out of their way to not only defend men in women's sports, but then also mock women who have had their sport affected because of these men. It is an absolute disgrace. And I tell you, man, if she's going to try and run to be the next president of the United States of America, those debates are going to be an absolute headache. Paracetamol sales will go through the roof if I watch it. That is a fact. Her voice does my absolute head in. It really does. It's enough to make deaf people take their hearing aids out. I'm not even joking. Now, before we get into this feud and take a look at how it went down, what happened, if you guys could, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into it all. So it all started with Riley Gaines posting this image here of AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Zohran Mamdani, who looks like he's probably going to be the next mayor of New York, and she says we're being destroyed from within. And I completely agree with her, especially with New York right now. What they're about to do if they elect Mamdani is insane. His socialist ideas, his policies, and what he stands for is going to destroy New York. If you want to see what happens when a city elects a super leftist Muslim mayor, look at London. Look at the crap hole that it is. That is what New York is going to become. I'll tell you, New York is in a lot of trouble if he gets elected. That is a fact. But this is where AOC chimes in, because she obviously couldn't handle a post like this, and she responds to Riley Gaines by saying, maybe if you channeled all this anger into swimming, you wouldn't have come fifth. What anger was Riley Gaines even demonstrating in the first place? What she was saying is common sense, but how can you be so tone deaf? I don't get it. Because even though most Americans agree with the idea of men not being in women's sports, these Democrats still defend it, and as you can see, will mock women for having their sport affected by these dudes identifying as women. What planet are they living on? And trying to mock Riley Gaines, man, for finishing fifth and tying with a biological male ain't the only you think it is, by the way. You know, at least Riley Gaines has the courage to stand up for what is right, to tell the truth. You can't even do that. You'll never do that. I mean, as I said, man, it starts with your accent. You can't even keep that truthful. 1 minute you sound very professional and very American. Then when you're talking to a different demographic, suddenly it sounds a little bit more foreign. You can't even stay truthful to yourself and to your voters, yet you have the nerve, the audacity to call out a woman who is standing up for the truth, reality, common sense, and standing up for women and their sports. Shut the front door, man. But she is getting absolutely roasted all over X for this response. We have Matt Van Swole here, who says Riley Gaines swam D1, took hits so girls behind her wouldn't have to, and now spends every day fighting for women to have their own podium, scholarships, and records. AOC, however, tweets insults at the women doing the work. Shut the hell up. That's fifth in the nation. She was fifth best swimmer in the entire effing nation. You guys say fifth like she failed to win some local swim meet. I'd be willing to bet there's never been anything in your life you would be capable of achieving fifth place out on your own personal merit like she did. Shame on you. You can disagree with Riley on political issues without betraying women and girls. You and other Dems should never claim you are for women's rights. Riley did a lot more to defend women's sports and spaces than you will ever do. Yeah, tell me what AOC is doing to defend women's sports and their spaces. Nothing. Because women like AOC stand up for agendas, policies that affect those very things. If men who identify as women go into these spaces, they don't care. They clap and cheer for it. As I... You know, I'm already laughing before I do this impression, man. That's how bad it's got. But every time there's a man in a woman's space, they don't condemn it. What do? They clap and cheer like, ah, wow, this is so brave. I'm surprised AOC hasn't done that accent yet. But I love to see it, man. I am so glad people responded in this way. Liberal women like this should be nowhere near politics. Nowhere near. Because they don't know what they're on about. All they care about are these woke agendas and socialist ideas that make no sense. No sense at all. But Riley Gaines clapped back to this post by saying this. It's always hilarious when they think they've landed a gotcha by pointing out I was 5th fastest woman in the nation, yet they conveniently forget the mediocre man who ranked 422nd in the men's division. Lol. Misogynistic dunce. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all you have to do to own woke liberals. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to do to show how hypocritical these people are. These people always mock Riley Gaines for finishing 5th, but they conveniently, as she says, leave out the part where there was a dude who did terribly in the men's division, transition, went into the women's category, and demolished, destroyed the competition. They always leave that part out. Very funny, isn't it? I will never, ever understand, it's one of the world's mysteries at this point, let's be honest, how women especially will defend these men going into women's sports, women's spaces, etc., etc. Especially when they talk about women's safety. Sorry? And when you sit here and think about it, apart from the men who identify as a woman, who defends it the most? Who defends these ideas more than anybody? The liberal women. They are always the ones screaming, shouting, complaining when somebody is being called out for going into a woman's space. Oh no, you can't say that. They identify as a woman and trans rights. What? It is so backwards. It really is. But Riley Gaines has also, by the way, challenged AOC to a debate.
Here's what I will say. I want to honestly challenge AOC to a debate. She can defend socialism. I will defend capitalism. She can defend removing God. I will defend embracing a biblical worldview. She can defend child. I will defend the sanctity of life. Any of the radical, insane democratic policies and platform that they stand for, I will debate the opposite. I'm challenging AOC to it here.
Well, I thought you were going to challenge her to like a freestyle, 100 freestyle or something. I'm like, that's
that too.
That's an unfair fight. Or
a fair fight to her is putting a man in the pool.
Yeah, no, you can wear you could wear like 100-pound weight and challenge her to it. That would be fair, actually.
I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I would pay money to see a debate like that. You know when you were younger and you used to go on Sky Box Office and you used to pay for WrestleMania? That's what I would do. Because you would have Riley Gaines defending truth, reality, common sense, God, versus AOC, who would be trying to defend her woke agendas, her socialist ideas, her pro-choice ideas, her anti-common sense ideas. Man, she would get absolutely owned. It wouldn't take much, it really wouldn't. But I also wonder, you know, if that debate would happen, what accent would AOC choose? Something to think about, isn't it? You know, you're always gonna lose a debate, a feud or whatever, when most of your beliefs aren't even based in reality, truth. That's how it's always going to go. But leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen, about this whole feud. I believe I just kicked the camera by accident. I do apologize if it looks a little bit off now. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video. All your support on these videos for the next couple of weeks will mean the absolute world. I do understand, you know, the quality visually and with the audio will be not as great as when I'm back home. So all the support, again, does mean the world to keep the videos in the algorithm, etc., etc. But until next time, until tomorrow, it has been your host, JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out.